Okay, so but it depends. Huh? Okay, so in this slide ni, kita tengok what is the meaning of expansion slot. Alright. So expansion slot ni is the slots, okay, that we can see on the motherboard. Okay. In other words, it is it's like a socket. Okay, socket that can hold an adapter cards. Alright. So I hope you are clear about this definition. Okay, so basically, why do we need this expansion slot? Because in some motherboard, okay, the function need the function need to be enhanced, okay, through additional peripherals in which the circuit is not being integrated on the motherboard itself. So that's why we need adapter cards to enhance the functionality of the motherboard. Okay, so usually through the adapter cards, so we have the way to connect the components to the motherboard. Okay, maksudnya at the end of the adapter cards ni, usually ada connectors that enable us to, ataupun ada port, okay, ada port that enable us to connect the device that we want to connect to the system later on. Okay, so that is about expansion slot. Okay, it can hold adapter cards. And in some cases, because now we already have USB connectors, isn't it? So USB ni dia ada plug and play system in which we no need to have additional adapter cards to connect to our system to use the peripherals, because with this plug and play property, we can straight away use the device, okay, when we connect the what we call this, the USB to the motherboard. Okay, so this is about expansion slot. Okay, and then adapter cards is the one that we plug in on the expansion slot. Okay, so there are several adapter cards available, okay, in terms of computer system. Kita ada semua ni lah, okay, firewire, network interface card, okay, and then we have sound card. Yang lain ni mungkin ada yang familiar, ada yang tak familiar kan. So it depends on our motherboard functionality. Okay, but usually, okay, we have this network adapter cards, we have this sound card. Okay, in some cases, if let's say we still have slots available to plug in more cards, okay, so we can add more USB connectors to it, okay, by having USB adapter cards, okay, and we can also have a video card ni untuk connects to our display device, okay, and then we also have video capture and so on and so forth. So these are some of the types of the adapter cards available that can be used by a computer system. Okay, so apa guna adapter cards ni tadi? Okay, to enhance functions of a component of the system unit or provides connection to external devices called as peripheral. Okay, so kalau kita macam tak clear what is peripheral, peripherals are all devices that connects to the system unit and is controlled by the processor in the computer. Okay, so itu maksudnya peripherals lah. Alright. Okay, so these are more on the expansion slot and adapter cards. Okay, so so this is just a motherboard, and these are different types of motherboard. Okay, so expansion slot ni dia ada jenis sebenarnya. Okay, sama ada PCI ke AGP ke, tapi in this example kita tunjuk yang PCI slot lah yang biasa kita nampak ni. Tapi boleh nampak ke? Okay, so can you see this? PCI slots number 6. Okay, so ada different types ni lah. Ada PCIe enhanced one, and we have the previous one, PCI slots yang biasa ni, so yang warna biru ni. Okay, kalau sebenarnya different motherboard ni, walaupun ada kita nampak dia macam lain kan, tapi if you specifically look at the motherboard, you can actually see that all the components on the motherboard ni sebenarnya lebih kurang sama je. Okay, sama je. So meaning that the expansion slot you can see is over here. Okay, PCI ni. Lepas tu kalau RAM, okay, RAM slot tu ataupun memory slot tu yang ada what we call this, click ni. Okay, so yang ada click ni tu memory slot. Lepas tu the one over here is our what we call this, processor. Okay, ada processor. Okay, so ni cuma nak tunjuk tu je lah. Alright, so just want to see the example of expansion slot and also adapter cards. Alright. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so in this chapter also, okay, we will go through the available ports and input-output devices for a computer system. Okay, so apa maksud port ni? Port in computer system is a point at which a peripheral is attached to the system unit. So system unit ni, I hope by now you can associate, okay, this term with system unit. Okay, maksudnya yang casing besar untuk our computer system lah. So kita panggil dia sebagai system unit. Okay, so port usually ada dekat depan and also the rear side of our system unit, isn't it? Okay, so the front side of the computer system, okay, usually kita ada USB port, and then depends on the system, sometimes they have firewire port, okay, and then ada microphone port or headphones jack, alright, and sometimes ada memory card reader and so on and so forth, okay. Okay, so ada soalan Okay, peripherals means any devices. Okay, any devices. You can understand it in that way lah. Okay, peripheral maksudnya devices. Okay, devices ataupun komponen. So, but in our case over here, peripheral tu kita boleh anggap dia sebagai input-output device lah. Okay, external device. Can you get that? Okay. Alright. So next we have kat belakang ni kita ada different ports. Okay, contoh tak pasti ada lagi ke tak ni, color purple dengan color hijau ni kan. Okay, so this one. Okay, so before this our mouse tu kita guna PS2 punya connector ni lah. Alright. And but now most of our connectors, especially in our laptop, isn't it? We use USB, right? Okay, but before this we have this kind of connectors. Okay, so this for keyboard and this one is for our mouse. Okay, and then we have serial port. Okay, and then ada USB tadi. Okay, and I hope you can relate all this lah. Ada network port. Okay, network port ni maksudnya kita connect kalau dekat lab biasanya kalau kita nak access internet kan, through our PC. Okay, so we use this LAN cable. Okay, so atau yalah LAN cable. Okay, so we plug in into this port over here. So in this example kita panggil dia sebagai network port ni lah. Okay, network port, and then we have all this audio connectors over here. Okay, microphone, speaker, and so on and so forth. And then here we have display port. Okay, so depending on the type of the connectors kat sini, okay, dia punya either it is by using HDMI ataupun DVI. Okay, so nanti if you have PC at your home, so you can try to look at the available ports that you have in your computer. Okay, so in some computer it has this kind of connectors. In some other computer you have different connectors. Okay, maybe you use a VGA cable for your video, for example. So then you will find something else lah, different port lah dekat situ. Okay, so all this we call as port. Okay, port. Tapi tadi saya ada sebut connectors juga kan. Okay, so connectors tu apa maksud dia? Oh, tak ada pula. Okay, so kalau port tu adalah yang dekat sini. Okay, point at which the peripheral is attached to the system unit. Connectors tu adalah kepala dia. Okay, kepala yang connect between the port and the peripheral. Okay, for example, we have USB connectors. Okay, we have USB port and then we have USB connectors as well, isn't it? Okay. So for example, example saya tunjuk satu ni. Okay, so here we have so we have this USB connector. So this is what we call as connectors. Okay, but then peripherals too. Okay, all right. So yes, we have different types of USB as well. Okay, and then the peripherals too. For example, is like our mouse. For example, okay, mouse. So our mouse. Okay, let's say we have our mouse. Dia punya connectors adalah USB, for example, and then we connect our mouse to the USB port on our computer. Okay, so two difference dia lah. Alright. Oh yes, okay, correct. Okay, so we have USB, the different types of USB, and then we have connectors ni, betul. Usually connectors ni related to female or male type of connectors. Okay, so maksudnya it depends on the whether dia ada pin ke tak ada pin. Alright, so this is the different type of connectors. Okay, good. Okay, so then about connectors tadi, after we go to the connectors, okay, next we look at the examples of input devices. Okay, so input devices ni, what is input device? Okay, so the what we call the official definition for input device is a hardware. Okay. Okay, so what happened? Okay, tak ada apa Alright, so input device ni is any hardware component that allows users to enter data. Okay, maksudnya as long as kita boleh give data through that device. Okay, so we call it as a input device. Okay, and usually the data tu, okay, allows users to enter data and instructions kan. Usually the data ni is unpredictable. So if the data is unpredictable in which we can enter through the hardware, so we call that hardware as input devices. Okay, so examples are keyboard, pointing devices, pen input, touch screen, and touch sensitive pad. Okay, so these are some examples. Okay, as what you can see from this slide over here. Okay, so the easiest one is kita ada keyboard, mouse, okay, touch screen, okay, touch sensitive pad, alright, and then we have pen input, okay, dalam different pattern over here, okay, and then we have a microphone. Okay, so microphone is also one of the input device, okay, in which we can input our sound, isn't it? Sound information. And then we have webcam. Okay, webcam can record or can capture the image. Okay, and then we have a scanner, barcode reader. Okay, if we go to the shopping mall, for example, so we have this barcode reader that read our price, right? And then we have this RFID reader and so on and so forth lah. And recently we have this biometric device. Okay, so this one depends on countries, isn't it? Okay, in some cases, in some place, ada certain places that needs the biometric data to be read by the system. Okay, so biometric ni maksudnya dia guna human punya properties ataupun human punya physical characteristics, alright, to as a form of identification. Okay, so this is what we call as biometric. Okay, so yeah,